Geoff, we're coming to the second week of a planned 6-week Stage 4 lockdown in metropolitan Melbourne. What are some of the key issues that members need to look out for?
Thanks, David. Today I want to touch on 3 areas for members, and they're information, scheduled servicing and social distancing. Firstly, members should be aware that the Stage 4 restrictions rules do change from time to time. Members need to keep an eye out for this. When I talk about the rules, I mean the material contained in the Stage 4 restrictions table, and there's a link to that provided below. This also provides a list of permitted work premises in it. You can find this on the DHSS website or on the link provided. When you go to that page, make sure you go halfway down the page and there's an area in yellow highlighted. It's called the log of changes. You need to keep an eye on that log of changes. I look at it twice a day. I'd urge you to look at it every morning. Changes this week, for example, have modified the section for transport, postal and warehousing, and in particular work on public transport, rideshare and taxi vehicles. Often the changes are subtle, but you need to keep an eye out for them to make sure you're doing the right thing. What hasn't changed in the rules at the moment is a restriction on carrying out logbook or scheduled servicing on vehicles. This is still not allowed under the current rules, even for vehicles on the Stage 4 table that can be maintained and repaired for other reasons. The same goes for any vehicle that requires essential or critical repairs. You still can't carry out a logbook or a scheduled service on those vehicles. Now, VACC actually doesn't agree with this position from government, and we're taking independent advice on how we can get this changed. We don't think this position is in the spirit of the lockdown, and we'll maintain this argument with government. Some feedback we've been receiving from members this week also suggests a level of frustration where workshops have closed and others have stayed open. However, it should be remembered that those workshops that are open, they may have government contracts or they may be undertaking critical repairs on vehicles. I appreciate there's a frustration here, but it may be legitimate work and we need to bear that in mind. If businesses have remained open to carry out logbook servicing and routine servicing, I'd strongly urge them to reconsider this position because it's not currently allowable. Not even unless it's essential or critical. You can only do the work that's essential and critical, not a logbook service while it's there at the moment. I should make it clear as well that these rules aren't VACC rules, but they affect our members. Our job here is to help inform members the best way we can, even when we've got a message that people don't want to hear. If we ignored those messages, that would be irresponsible. We wouldn't do that. Finally, a heads up on social distancing. If your business is open for work allowed in the Stage 4 restrictions or to carry out essential and critical repairs on those or other vehicles, social distancing is still critical. If an inspector comes into your business and there are half a dozen people in the lunchroom without masks, sat next door to each other, you're going to probably cop a fine. Now, of course, they haven't got their masks on, they're having their lunch. However, you need to separate your staff from these sorts of gatherings, stagger breaks amongst your staff, including your office staff. Keep them apart. Please keep your antennas up on this because it could be a weak point in some operations. On closing this week, I want to assure all members that VACC will keep advocating for the best and most sensible outcomes for our members. We want our communities protected, but that also includes allowing people to drive around in safe vehicles.